Hello, everybody. My name is Paul Hirons. Very happy New Year to you, and welcome to the Bengals online tailgate. It is week 17. It's the last time we will be doing this in the regular season. Some would say, "Thank goodness." Others would think it a shame. Joining me today is Jamie Rowe. Jamie, happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year, Houday. Getting all my cushions on display.
And I know, yeah, are they Christmas presents by any chance?
They are Christmas presents. I've got an awful lot of Christmas presents, mainly ones that can be drunk.
And Mike Smith, happy New Year to you, Mike.
Happy New Year, guys. From the heart of where the latest COVID variant originated from.
Thanks for that. It's the gift that literally keeps on giving, doesn't it? That variant.
It really is. It doesn't know when to leave, does it? It's just like that guest at a party. It doesn't quite get the hint that it's over now. We're bored of you. Get out. Get lost.
Exactly. Well, we do. Let's get the COVID chat out of the way. We do hope you're safe and well, and have been keeping safe and well. Guys, it is the final game of the season. Are you sad about that, or are you? Is it a case of good riddance, or what are you feeling at the moment, Jamie?
I mean, the NFL season has the life of a mayfly. You've got sort of 17 weeks of regular season action, and it goes in a flash. It really does. I mean, it just seems like it was a week ago that we were all starting off against San Diego and excited for Joe Burrow. So I'm never happy to see it go away. I think elements of what the Bengals have done this season have been poor. I've certainly kind of expanded on that as the weeks have gone by. But it is going to be a long old off season. The usual talks about contracts, the usual talks about the draft, the usual kind of getting bored silly by it when we get to about March or April before anything sort of useful happens.
What about you, Mike? Are you? Because James is right. There's such a big build up to the NFL season. Certainly this year, we weren't quite sure what was going to happen with it. It still staggers me that it's still going on after all the COVID stuff. Looks as though we're going to be able to finish the season, although, cases are expanding and kind of cropping up all over the league. Really, our own Mike Daniels is out today. Are you kind of? Well, yeah. What are your feelings about this season? Are you sad to see it go?
Well, I of course I'm going to miss. I miss the regular season. It's missing like the chat. Missing the interaction between you guys, especially during the games. But remember, we've still got the playoffs, a few weeks of the playoffs to come, and I love playoff football.
When you say we, not the Bengals,
obviously. No. But as fans of the game, we still there is playoff football to look forward to. And I personally love playoff football. I think that the shackles are off and everyone's just going for it, 100 mile an hour action. I personally find that the divisional and the championship games are actually half the time better than the Super Bowl itself. So that's when, if you're on the outside, watch those two games to hook you into the game and then pick a team, etc. But the off season, it doesn't really. There's plenty to go on. There's always talk about the draft, whose stock's rising, whose stock's falling. There's the combine to look forward to. There's always going to be players who get arrested. There's going to be coaching. There's Black Monday to look forward to, and I'm sure we'll have a bit of a talk about that later on. Before the draft's here, and then it's the summer, and it's all of a sudden, oh God, it's only like 6 or 8 weeks to start the season. So it comes round fast. Let's not forget that.
It does. We are actually basically we're not going to talk about anything about the draft today because, as Jamie and Mike said, the season is a long time. What's the phrase? Long time coming or long time gone? I'm not quite sure what the phrase is there, but do you know what I mean? We wish it for so long and then it's over in a flash. There's plenty of time to talk about the draft. There's plenty of time, so we're not going to do that. And the tailgate is for having a laugh and talking about food and drink and all that kind of stuff. But we cannot do this tailgate and not talk about AJ Green, because we are playing the Baltimore Ravens today. The Ravens have got something to play for. The Bengals not so much, although some jobs are on the line. Some jobs have already been lost if you read our old friend Elise Jess's reports. And again, we'll get onto that later. But today could be the final day that we see AJ Green in stripes. I would personally say it's probably the last day of seeing AJ in stripes. What do you think, guys? Is this realistically the last time we see AJ in a Bengals uniform?
I mean, sorry, Mike, go for it.
That's all right. It's probably, if you're going to give a percentage, probably about 85% it is the last time. Well, that 15%, that sort of that doubt in me is because if he's looking to find another team who's going to compete, is he necessarily that missing piece that gets you over the line? And I'm not sure with his production, which has declined over the last couple of seasons, he is necessarily thought of that way by other teams. There's been plenty of opportunities as well for other teams to inquire about whether he's available for a trade or not, and that doesn't appear to have happened. I think overall, I think it is his final game today as a Bengal, and I hope he, whatever he goes to go on and do, he does well. I just think don't be surprised if he does come back for another season, because there is just that lack of interest, because he's not that, he just isn't that necessarily seen as that missing piece for a team to get over the line.
Jamie, do you think it's highly probable that we've seen the last of, this is his last game at as a Bengal?
Yeah, I think it's almost certain that this is time for AJ. It's been a great 10 years that he spent at the team. 8.5 of those incredibly productive, kind of circus catches, just doing things that you wouldn't expect a normal human being to be able to do. The way he controls his body midair has been great, and I mean he's been vastly underrated as a receiver in this league because he's come from a sort of a minor media city, as opposed to if you play for Dallas. He's a consummate professional. You never get any trouble from him. He works hard. There's bound to be a team out there that's looking for kind of a veteran guy, someone who has the right kind of mental tools to bring into a locker room. I don't see much of a starting role for him anymore, wherever he does go. But if there's a receiver room full of very young faces, he's somebody to bring in for them to look up to. So, yeah, there will be a place for AJ Green in the league. I don't think it's with the Bengals anymore.
Yeah, sad news. And we've already got some pictures from our followers on social media. This is Malik Hunter from, I think that's in Cincinnati, obviously. And he got to meet AJ, looking smooth there, both Malik and AJ. Malik in his Gio Bernard jersey there. Good stuff, Malik. Here's our very own soon-to-be-married Tom McDowell with one of his many pieces of memorabilia there, and it's an AJ Green jersey, and wearing an AJ Green jersey. This is Chris Hood, repping strongly from Cardiff there. Good to see you, Chris. And this is, who's that? I think that's Cahill from Ireland, who got his AJ Green jerseys out. And this is from one Stuart Baird there with his Colour Rush AJ Green jersey out. And as if by television magic, here is that man, Stuart Baird. Hello, Stu.
Oh, good evening to you all, Houday, and a happy new year to you all. And let me say straight away, I didn't know that about Tom, so congratulations to Tom. Good on you, Matt. Good on you.
I'm sure he wouldn't mind us telling the entire world that.
Well, it wasn't me who released it.
Personal news, but Stu, I wanted to get you on because you're a passionate fan of AJ Green, as we all are. But you put this video on social media, so I'm going to play it out now. And this is from Wembley in 2016, and I think AJ, along with a whole bunch of other players, but particularly AJ, has a special place in our hearts because many of us were lucky enough to see him play at Wembley. And Stuart, excellent bit of forward thinking here. You managed to record the players coming out of the tunnel, and as you rightly said, listen for the reaction when AJ Green comes out the tunnel, and tell me if it does. Sorry, a bit of trap win there, and maybe a bit of emotional win. I think maybe not for the first time over Christmas, I must say, but. Anyway, listen out for the introduction for AJ Green. If it doesn't put hairs on the back of your neck, I don't know what will. So this is from Stuart. Thanks for sending this over, Stu. Well, there we go. AJ Green getting an absolutely rapturous reception. Russell Bodine and Cedric Aboy, not so much. I sense from that video. Stu, thanks for sending that video over, mate. What do you remember about that day, and what are your favourite memories of AJ?
Well, I think Jamie's hit on it already about him being just such a consummate professional. Apart from that one time when he had to give, was it Jalen Ramsey a briefing about his lip?
Yeah, I forgot him slapping Jalen Ramsey upside the head, but I think that just makes him even better.
But apart from that, you'd never heard, there was never a bad word said about him. But it's the way he went storming out the blocks for me. I mean, I've been a fan since, the draft in 2011. And, there was a lot of strong other receivers in the team as well. If you think people like Mo Sanu, Marvin Jones Jr. But he was, he came out them blocks so quick. Was it 7 straight Pro Bowls, 6 1,000-yard seasons? So he came steaming along. And, like I say, and as Jamie said, I just respect him for his out-and-out professionalism. So, yeah. And that day he went on to get 121 yards at Wembley, but no touchdown, sadly. So I didn't get to see him score a touchdown.
You're right. His production, certainly first 8 years, I want to say 7 or 8 years, was just extraordinary. And again, Jamie, you were right in saying that he just didn't get the recognition, I don't think, around the league, especially when you had Julio. It was basically him and Julio Jones drafted within a few spots of each other. So it was always, they've got that kind of weird rivalry there, even though they're both fantastic players. But while Julio had got all the plaudits, I think, and rightly so, he's a great, great player, AJ never did. And, but, I just think it was the consistency from AJ. Year in, year out, you knew what he was going to do. He was just a fantastic player in those first 7 years, wasn't he?
Yeah, and, I mean, he really helped Dalton in the early part of his career. Before Dalton got particularly accurate, he'd just sort of once again throw it vaguely near AJ Green, and he'd go out and bail him out of quite a bad throw usually. And that must have been sort of great assistance for Andy when he was coming into the start of his career. I think the effect that AJ had on the offense was one of the factors that pushed us into being that kind of perennial playoff team in the early 2010s.
Mike, what are your fondest memories? Well, let's just have a few comments here. Robo Macca says, sadly, yes, AJ will play.
Solid handle.
Yeah. AJ will play his last game today. Age, health, salary are huge factors. Mozza92, AJ is my GOAT, but it's time for everyone to move on different courses. Still very sad, though. Dave Cass, who day, my friends? I'll be wearing my number 18 jersey today. I think we all know this will be his last game in stripes. Tom McDowell says, take it off. Don't you dare, Stu.
I'm even wearing trousers, so Tom, no, I'm not listening to you today.
Well, we're grateful for you doing that. But Mike, sorry, man. Any particular memories of AJ for you?
I think the abiding memory is the Hail Mary, isn't it? Versus the Ravens. In fact, generally throughout his entire career as a Bengal, he is a Raven killer. Yeah. He has just tormented them throughout all of his time in the AFC North. I think also with AJ, in those first 7 seasons, you could put your house on that he would be open at one point during the game, and it would guarantee go for a touchdown. The guy, although slight of frame, his peripheral vision, the way he could just separate himself from some of the best cornerbacks in the league was unbelievable at times. And you'd be watching Dalton go back and play action, you're thinking, oh Christ, we're in trouble here. And he just bomb it down the field, and no one would be covering AJ. There was some times where I just couldn't believe teams would not double cover him, would not put him back into a cover 3 or even a cover 4. But he was just so good at just completely getting that separation down the field and becoming such a potent weapon in the offense. And I think to add to that, Jamie, we had a really good set of offensive coordinators to help AJ with that as well, particularly when Hugh Jackson was the offensive coordinator. That was like basically a marriage made in heaven. It was so good to watch those two in action.
Yeah, I agree. Sorry, Jamie. I was just going to say, sometimes it didn't really matter whether he was double teamed or even triple teamed, because Dalton had a habit, didn't he, in those early years of just chucking it up and letting AJ just go up and get it. And that was actually a bit of a criticism because of Dalton in the early years, because he would just do that. He would just go up and just throw it up and hope for the best. And more often than not, AJ would come down with the ball. And I think that's right. I mean, the Hail Mary against Cleveland and the Ravens was amazing. His stuff against his games against the Ravens was stuff of legend. But it's already been mentioned already, and I think this is obviously one of his more incredible moments in a Bengals shirt.
This happened about a moment ago in the Bengals-Jags game. It looks like a standard play. A.J. Green and Jalen Ramsey, 2 stars on their respective sides of the football, get into a huge fight, and everybody goes at it. Now, you see the players running into it. That's A.J. Green and Jalen Ramsey at the bottom of the pile. A.J. Green throwing several punches, and I'm going to show you a replay in a moment that he tried a chokehold on Jalen Ramsey. Watch. So Ramsey will push him down. Ramsey pushed down A.J. Green. Green throws him in a chokehold, rips him back down, and is throwing punches. No one has any chill at this moment, and they're after it. All Ragnarok is breaking out there in Jacksonville. Bengals and Jags throwing punches. A.J. Green was ejected. Jalen Ramsey was ejected. A big fight right before halftime. I said this about 2 minutes ago this happened. They did run another play. Clock expired there. Jags 13, Bengals 7 at the half.
I mean, and they're after it, says Scott Hanson. And they certainly were. It was hilarious. No one likes to see fighting on a field, or do they? But that was particularly amusing, I think, because Jalen Ramsey really is
a wind-up merchant.
Yes, that's the phrase I was looking. The more diplomatic phrase I was looking for.
Yeah. Just to point out, when the scuffle happened and AJ suplexes him to the floor, notice that everyone piles in on Jalen Ramsey and not on AJ Green, even his own teammates. So I think that maybe tell you what you need to know what the league thought of Jalen Ramsey.
Well, that's it, isn't he? I mean, he is a chippy little so-and-so. I thought, it was just, I mean, I think even Antonio Brown, not known for his lucidity and sensibleness, kind of tweeted out after that game, something must have gone wrong with AJ because he just doesn't do that. I do that kind of stuff, but not him. And I think, it was just he got completely wound up, didn't he? Really, in that game, it was hilarious.
Yeah, I don't know what Jalen said to him. I mean, did you say, was it on Hard Knocks this year or last year? I can't remember which one, when he was on it, and you really got under, to see that he was, for all intents and purposes, not a nice person. So don't know what he said to AJ, but it must have been pretty nasty.
Yeah, I mean, it's just sort of standard cornerbacks. I mean, they all have a thing. They can't catch, and that's sort of got to them. And they have to take out their sort of inadequacy on that front out by just trying to start fights.
I'm just looking at some of AJ's stats. It looks like that 2013 season, he set a franchise record for 5 consecutive games with at least 100 receiving yards, and he caught 98 receptions and 1,426 yards. The second highest in Bengals history, and 11 touchdowns. And the following season, he recorded 224 yards and 11 receptions against the Steelers, and still lost, that game. I mean, what an incredible player, really. And I just think he's just so consistent and so smooth and so, no drama. I think that's been kind of quite unusual, especially after. I mean, he came after the age of Ocho Cinco and Terrell Owens, didn't he? So we were used to kind of carnival time in Cincinnati, for better or worse, and then came this really solid, consistent, no drama player, and he just churned it out season after season. So. And I think you do kind of take for granted that kind of player. So even if he does stay, I don't mind paying AJ Green tribute at all. I think he's one of the best players in franchise history, don't you, Stu?
I do, yeah. And like I say, I think for the reason you just hit on there, Paul, that after the circus of what had happened in the noughties. It just sort of like brought that level playing field, that professionalism that we really needed, and the attitude I think that he came with the professionalism, what he brought to the locker room was just outstanding.
Absolutely. But of course there are some AJ Green aside, and we love paying tribute to him. It's going to be weird. When it was weird seeing Dalton going, I think, but it's going to be weird AJ going as well. But there are other little side stories today. Today might be the last time we see Geno Atkins. I mean, he's not playing today, but he's obviously a part of the squad. We might see the last of Carl Lawson in stripes today. That's quite possible because he's going to fetch some big money on the free agency market, you would imagine. The last we might see of William Jackson, the same as Carl Lawson there. So, Mackenzie Alexander you might throw in there as well. So there's a lot of stuff up in the air at the moment. Stu, before we let you go, what are your feelings on, do we re-sign Carl Lawson? Would you like to see that? William Jackson, what are your thoughts on those two guys?
For me, William Jackson, he only takes 2 penalties to work out what he's doing wrong. But he's very, very good back there. But Carl Lawson, I would say we've got to throw house money at him to re-sign him. He seems to be a real standout rusher this year that we need. And whether we build around him or build around others, I think, Geno Atkins, is, again, we're going to be sad to see these people go. But I think, we are hopefully rebuilding, and people like Lawson definitely needs to be on the top of that list.
Jamie, what about you? What do you think?
I mean, you're looking at sort of AJ and Gino, and they've given us such great service over the years. Realistically, you're looking at it from a business point of view, and the amount that we're investing in them right now isn't the amount we're getting in return, and that's going to be money that can be used on trying to get Carl Lawson back and trying to get Will Jackson back. There was a very good thread by Joe Goodberry on Twitter where he was going through the positives of William Jackson. He said he was probably the best cornerback going into free agency this year. I think William Jackson might be a candidate for the franchise tag, just to give us a bit of time to work out what we're doing with him. I think we should be throwing money at both of them. They're both probably two of our only like 3 or 4 competent defensive players at the moment. So we need to hold on to what we've got before we start improving elsewhere.
Mike, how about you?
I think the franchise tag on William Jackson is a great shout, Jamie. I think given the state of the defense this year, he has been one of the few bright spots. And remember, he's a first-round corner. While we love a first-round corner, I don't think necessarily we should just be waiving him just like that. He has the experience now. He knows what this division's like. He's actually one of the better tacklers as well in the open field for a defensive back as well. And I think, given what we face, 6 times a year in this division, I think that's invaluable. I'm probably not as in favour of resigning Carl Lawson as Stu and Jamie are. Don't get me wrong. I think he's a good player, but is he necessarily elite? No. The pass rush has been a tremendous problem for this team this year, even with him playing most of the time on it. And do we want to necessarily be investing an awful lot of money into Carl Lawson when the production isn't necessarily the equivalent of the likes of what you get from the Browns or what you get from the Steelers? I think they will do though, but I'm just not as, if there was a better option out there and I thought, with the money he's saving from AJ and Gino, I would be doing that. But I think it'll be Lawson and plus another either free agency or the draft to try and sort out that pass rush.
Well, it's going to be interesting. No William Jackson to say it today, and our secondary reads like this.
The corners, no.
LaShawn Sims and who else? And Mackenzie Alexander's out as well, isn't he? So who else was back? I don't even know.
Tony Brown, Winston Rose.
Oh, good.
Yeah, you remember Tony Brown? He was the one who kept getting burned the last time he played.
Yeah. And I do remember LaShawn Sims, who seems to be targeted every single game whenever he plays. Stu, we're going to let you go now, mate. Thank you for coming on. It's great to see you. Thanks for all your help and support as ever. Happy New Year, and enjoy the game today.
Hope to see you all in the flesh, and I don't mean naked flesh, but hope to see you all in the flesh real soon. And Jamie, I've got a set of clippers if you ever want to borrow them, mate.
Oh God, I'm really getting struck down by this lockdown. Really, it's bad times. My hairdressers can't get to me at the moment. I might just get a hedge trimmer on it.
Yeah, looking good, dude.
All right, bye.
Cheers, Stu. Cheers. Well, that was lovely Stu there from Oxfordshire, and yes, I think we might be a bit screwed today, but let's not talk about that just yet. Guys out there watching, send us your favourite AJ Green moments, and we shall pass them on. Now then, we mentioned it, and Mike mentioned it. It's Black Monday tomorrow. We've already been told that the likes of Jim Turner, Nick Eason and Bob Bicknell, and there's another defensive assistant whose name I can't remember, are on their way, which obviously, especially when it comes to Jim Turner, I think that many Bengals fans are in agreement with that. Elise has been teasing more to come. Are you anticipating any more to come?
I think if he survives, Lou Anarumo is literally like a gnat's pubic hair away from being fired, because it's just the state of the defense has just been terrible this season. So I wouldn't be surprised with him, but I think he just about survives.
Jamie?
Yeah, I think the coaches that are rumoured to have gone are probably the end of it. I mean, I've said previously that I don't like having Zach Taylor around as head coach. It appears from the rumours that have been going around that he's been told from up on high that unless he got rid of most of his assistants, it was his head for the chop. So it looks like another year of Zach.
You put up with that though as a head coach though? Because if I have any sort of self-respect, if I'm leading a team like that and I've been told by those above, this is your team, then I'm just saying, see you, mate. I'm off. I just mean, is it a case of does Zach want to please the bosses above him because he knows he'll get the time, he will get the investment? Or is it literally, and I really hope it isn't, is it because, I don't, is it because he is, mentally just being done over? It's hard to work here, and he does literally just fear for his own job, for his own safety. I personally wouldn't take that.
But, he's had his end of year appraisal. It's not gone well. And basically at this point he's saying whatever he can to try and stay in the building.
I'll tell you what though, I can't wait to see Bengals Twitter if Mike Zimmer gets fired by Minnesota on Monday.
Oh, I know. Oh,
I cannot wait.
So, okay, let's have a quick look then. Who are you expecting to see fired around the league then? Have you got any thoughts? I know we live in a bit of a Bengals bubble, which is a beautiful orange and black bubble, but are we expecting Mike Zimmer to be fired? Are we expecting, who else, really?
I mean, obviously, Adam Gase and Doug Marrone are pretty much already out the door. I don't see Romeo Crennel staying in Houston. He's done a really good job in parts with them, saving them from the mess that B.O.B. had inflicted during the off-season. The one I'm looking at, and it's in case Andy Dalton doesn't bail him out tonight, but I think Mike McCarthy could be in serious trouble in Dallas if they don't get that final playoff spot.
Kellen Moore's been retained as the defensive coordinator. And I also see Marvin Lewis sneakily interviewed for the Detroit job last week. So I think we may see Marvin back in the NFL in some capacity this next season.
Yeah, I mean, the job he did over years with us, it wasn't a Super Bowl winning team that he ever got to. It wasn't a playoff winning team that he ever got to. But he did make a bad team vaguely competent for a while.
Does Pedersen stay in the Eagles?
In true Marvin style, we'll see, Tom McDowell says. Sorry, Mike, you came in there.
There's also there's a dirty little rumour that won't go away about the Eagles' head coaching position, which sounds unbelievable considering that it wasn't that long ago they were, Nick Folesing it to a Super Bowl. But since then, the wheels really have come off the Pittsburgh things. The Philadelphia.
If Peterson makes it into sort of the coaching market, that's one of the league's best offensive coordinators available.
Absolutely,
out there.
He won't be long. He won't be in it without a job for too long, I don't think, Doug Pedersen. But that's how it can happen, isn't it? Things can go really well. Few injuries here and there, a few bad drafts, and then suddenly you're off a cliff, aren't you? And we've seen it with the Bengals, which also puts into context how Marvin kept doing it for sort of getting to the playoffs year after year. It was a pretty amazing achievement, really, when you look at the ups and downs of most NFL teams. I think it was incredible, really. Right, I think we've talked about football enough. It's time to talk about beer. Here's our old friend Moz from Stoke. He's going to give you some beer recommendations.
Hello, Bengals fans. last game of the season. I'm not saying I'm getting messy, to be honest with you, because it's not been a great season, but it is kind of sad with the Bengals actually winning a couple of games, and it's like, yeah, we might win this one as well, but you've got that. I've got that phase back again. Getting back weight tomorrow as well. It just seems like everything's coming to an end. Like Christmas coming to an end. I'm a bit grumpy, to be honest with you, because I've actually enjoyed Christmas. But the two beers I will recommend with with Christmas stuff, a lot of places shut down, and it's been quite difficult to actually find anything new. The first beer I will recommend just got released before Christmas. It is called If You Lose Me. It's from Track, who are based in Manchester. It is an 8.5% double IPA. It's not the cheapest. You're talking about £8.50 a can on certain websites at the cheapest, but you will get your money's worth. I've actually not had this beer personally. A lot of my friends and people who I talk to have had it, and every single one have said it's absolutely brilliant. So I will trust their opinion. I get not all my opinions always right, but this seems like definitive that it is very good. It will be tropical fruits and citrus fruits, and someone even mentioned jelly tots in a noting flavour, which sounds quite interesting. But yeah, it's not cheap, but you will enjoy it, I'd hope. If it is good, you can thank me. If it's shite, then it's everyone else's fault. So don't come at me if it's not good. The second beer I will recommend, I actually had last night. It is a old classic. It's from St. Bernardus. It's their triple. It is 8%, talking about £3.50 to about £4.50 a bottle, maybe £5, but I think that's a little bit steep. With this beer, it is just a very standard triple, lemony, bready, yeasty, clovey, but it is a exceptionally high quality beer. It is an excellently, it's an excellent showcase of this style of beer. You won't get many better triples than that. It was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. I think I drank it within 20 minutes. I just slunk it down, and it was great. It was absolutely fantastic, to be honest. It was one of them early day beers, changing from lager to real ale and craft beer and stuff like that. So it says one of them gateway beers, and if you want to try these beers, I think that's a good starting point. But yeah, they're the two beers I recommend. I hope you've actually enjoyed me doing this, and hopefully you've picked a lot of these beers up and actually tried them, because that was the point. I want you guys to try them, and if you're not into this beer stuff but you're intrigued, then hopefully you're involved, because it's a great community to be in. It's one I'm very proud to be a part of, and it's a great community to be in, because everyone's great, and you hear recommendations, you're like, oh, that sounds different. It's great. It's very similar to Bengals UK, really. We all got different backgrounds and all different, and but we all unite, and it's great. It's like a big, crazy family.
There we go. There's Mars. I had to cut him off because his video was too long. Sorry, Mars. I know you're watching. But two great beers there. Again, what a great addition Mars has been to this tailgate. Thank you so much for all his beer videos. Jamie, I see you have a beer there. Come on then, what are you drinking?
So I'm on a Blue Shime today, which is something that I describe as Moz Juice. It is a 9% Trappist style, but it's interesting that he mentions having the St. Bernardus triple in there, because I've just been given a bottle of that for Christmas, so that'll be a very delicious thing to go on to. Probably not tonight, because I think this will probably be more than enough for me tonight. Jeez Louise. It's a lovely beer, but Christ, it's strong.
Mike, and did you get any booze for Christmas? Were you boozing in a...
Not really, to be honest, mate. No beers this year. I'm still pretty much finishing off the booze I did get in during Christmas. So I've got a few cans of Moretti later, and there's a couple of Manabrias in the cupboard as well. But some of I've got to get back into the craft beer scene. which having a family, having kids, you sort of do sort of move away from it. But some of the Moz's tips, and I have bought a couple, and they have been brilliant. I've set definitely this season. I've really enjoyed getting a collaboration. I think Northern Monk are pretty good at doing that. I think there's one called Order of the Faith, and that's just absolutely beautiful. It's only about £3 a can from Morrison's, but again, it's quite a high strength beer. So just one of those for the evening, and then I'm happy.
Yeah, I agree. I got a couple of bottles of rum for Christmas, so I should be supping on them for the rest of the year. In fact, I'm just tempted to lock myself in a wardrobe with a couple of bottles of rum and then just come out in 2022, really. But anyway, that's my own personal kink revealed to the world there. Let's talk about food. Obviously, New Year, new food. I think each of us, all of us, in fact, probably looking to lose a few pounds. I certainly piled a load on over Christmas. But let's go through. We're going to be changing our habits. This is a Nutella crazy. Have you ever considered having Nutella in a curry, Jamie, before?
Well, jalfrezi is a lovely kind of healthy curry. It's sort of very tomato based. It's very heavy on the veg and the onions and all in it. And then you've gone and added Nutella to it, and I have absolutely no idea how that's going to work. I mean, good luck to that.
In Mexican cooking, they often add chocolate to chilies, like moles and things like that. But I've never heard of it in a curry before.
I mean, I think less is more on that front. That looks like somebody has just kind of taken 4 tablespoons of it and slapped that in there. Not for me, thanks.
Now, I don't know if you guys have tried Lotus Biscoff spread.
Oh, what?
And it is fantastic stuff, isn't it? And Matthew Morris says Nutella curry, burn it. But yeah, Lotus Biscoff is this incredible spread, a bit like Nutella, but it's kind of how do you describe it? It's like crushed up biscuit with sort of German cinnamony seasoning, that kind of. It is utterly delicious. So someone has decided to put Lotus Biscoff with burgers and bacon on it, and I think, and with some biscuits as well. I think I read that this burger was over 4,000 calories in its composition. I mean, it does look like a dessert, doesn't it? Really,
Mike, you take that one.
I've seen this before. I didn't know it was 4,000 calories, and I wish you hadn't told me it was 4,000 calories. I think this could work. The sweetness of the spread itself would nicely complement and probably like equalize out the flavor, the saltiness of the bacon. Not so sure necessarily it mixed very well with the cheese and especially as it starts to melt. But it's not the worst idea. We brought
maple syrup, don't you? So that sweet savoury thing. It just feels like quite an extreme sweet savoury thing.
Just to point out that Aldi do their own versions of Nutella and Biscoff as well. So
that's interesting.
Yes. So I'd get in on that while you can.
Right, this is a tribute to DJ Reed and his love of breakfast cereals. This is a breakfast cereal, but made entirely of donuts. Again, I could get around that, really. I could get into that, or could I? Maybe that's just a bit too much. A whole dish.
I think sort of milk and donuts could work. I love donuts, and that'd just be a way of adding sort of an extra layer of kind of sweetness and deliciousness. I'm down with that.
What's your favourite donut, Jamie? What's your favourite donut?
My favourite donut? Oh, probably salted caramel Krispy Kreme. But obviously, that's something that you're going to spend a month's wages on. So don't do that.
This is a kiwi fruit pizza.
That's a cry for help.
It is a cry for help, isn't it? Really? Let's take it.
I think it's ahead of its time.
Ahead of its time, or way after its time. I can just about understand pineapple on pizza, but kiwi fruit, maybe that's a fruit too far on pizza, don't you think?
Don't knock pineapple on pizza, Paul.
I hate it. Although I did see there's a new pizza chain that's opened around the country called Dodo's Pizza, and they do mango and lobster pizza. So bits of lobster and crayfish and mango and Thousand Island dressing on a pizza with cheese. Sorry.
I'm fine with lobster. It's just incredibly overrated.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get roughly the same effect from just having prawns.
Yeah.
More than that, but you know, good luck to them.
Yeah, good luck to them. Although I do think they might go the way of the actual Dodo if they keep producing toppings like that. Final food story today is this. This is actually cheese, and apparently factory workers in Cuba have been arrested after stealing almost 3,000 pounds of cheese in a state-owned factory. The outlet reports that authorities arrested 4 employees from the Holguin Dairy Company after they transported 1,485 pounds of cheese, which had allegedly been stolen from a factory in eastern municipality of Holguin. In total, they are believed to have robbed almost 3,000 pounds of the beloved dairy product. Yes, I'm not quite sure how they transported this cheese out of the factory and what kind of cheese that was, but yeah, I don't think that's not going to be a sell-on for many people if someone comes up to you with like, "Here, mate, look, I've got some cheese for you. What do you think?" Would you ever go as far as stealing cheese?
I mean,
stolen cheese. Steal my cheese.
Not in Cuba, I wouldn't.
Not
I mean, God knows what punishments awaiting them.
Well, exactly, yeah.
You know, it's all theft, isn't it? Theft against the state. It's not very socialist, is it, comrade? It's not good enough.
It is not. It isn't. I would steal some of the cheese. I think that I had over Christmas. That was very nice. But
I have just spent the last minute trying to think of a cheese-based crime pun, and the best I can come up with is that it's Steelton cheese.
Oh, very good. Oh, that is good, Jamie. Very good. And it also reminds me of an episode in Midsummer Murders where Martine McCutcheon was killed by a massive round of cheese. She got trampled to death by cheese. So
you think they'd learn? You think they'd learn, the people of Midsummer, that there's trouble afoot?
Don't go anywhere near any dairy products that could in any way kill you.
And any Americans listening, don't go anywhere near Midsummer either.
No, that's right. Tom McDowell says, "Go on a crime brie." Very good. Very good, Tom. Matthew Morris says that pizza looks like a petri dish of disease. Yeah, I tend to agree with that. We're going to be introducing Adam, our betting man, in a second. So have a think about predictions for today. If you actually care about the result, tell us what you think. David Miller says, "Happy New Year, everyone. Eggs for dinner tonight." Now, David and Tracy have been letting us know about their dinners and their domestic dispute because of their dinners throughout the season. Thank you, David and Tracy. Happy New Year to you both. Eggs for dinner tonight, they say. Bengals 31-24. Love to all and looking forward. ... To what I'm not sure, but to everything. Looking forward to everything. Let's just say that. We have to remind ourselves that a couple of years ago, the Bengals went into Baltimore in a very similar position and actually pulled off a victory. So I'll just leave that there for you to ponder while I activate Adam.
That's right. Week 17, final game of the season. Obviously, it's been a rough year, as we have come to expect now, coming to 4-10-1. We've got the 5th pick in the draft as it stands, and I think that's probably where we're going to go because the teams above us don't look like they're going to win. So I think this little 2-game win streak has knocked us back a little bit on the draft position, which is fine, but it is what it is. We're going to be picking 5th. Probably see what happens there. I wouldn't be surprised if we trade down. But anyway, on to tonight's game. Bengals are 14-point underdogs hosting the Ravens. Total is 44. The Bengals have got a remarkable record of sending the fans home happy. Jay Morrison posted it on Twitter during the week. They've won something like 12 out of 13 final games of the season, which is just ridiculous. And of course, we beat the Ravens in their own place a couple of years back to stop them getting in the playoffs. If we win tonight, it'll be a huge upset, and it would again stop them getting to the playoffs. So that'd be quite nice. Looks like it's the last game for Mr. AJ Green. Obviously, we gave him the franchise tag this year. He's out of contract. He has said he wouldn't mind sticking around, and he has said that for years. So who knows what's going to happen there, but obviously he'll have to be on a decent deal for the team. We do have his replacement in T. Higgins, who looks like a complete stud, and very much looking forward to watching Burrow and Higgins going forward. Possibly the last game for Geno Atkins as well, despite signing him to a big contract. Looks like he could be gone. As long as we give the money to Carl Lawson, then at least we should keep some kind of strength there. It's a shame because obviously Geno's been Pro Bowl throughout his time there. Also gone is Jim Turner, the offensive line coach, which I'm pretty sure everyone has commented on already and is very happy with. We only scored 3 points against the Ravens last time we played, and it was a last-minute field goal, which really annoyed their defensive coordinator. We were terrible in that game, and that was with Joe Burrow. So I'm not entirely sure how we're going to do tonight. The offense has actually looked fairly good in recent weeks. Brandon Allen got Offensive Player of the Week last week for his performance. Samaje Perine scored a couple. Gio looked fine. Tyler Boyd should be back for this one after concussion. Ruled him out the last game, and as I say, T. Higgins looked brilliant. Tyler Boyd's receiving line is 43.5. That seems quite low. T. Higgins 50.5. Gio Bernard 39.5 rush yards and 19.5 receiving yards. If you think that we're going to send AJ out with a high, I believe he's one touchdown away from equaling Chad Johnson. He's 5-1 to score tonight. I've said they're not going to force feed him the ball, but what else have we got to play for? Samaje Perine 17-2, T. Higgins 3-1, Tyler Boyd 4-1 to score tonight, and Gio Bernard 23-10 is the shortest price we've got. Brandon Allen obviously put up a ton of yards last week. His yardage line is 216.5. I don't know how we're going to do. Obviously, we got murdered by the Ravens last time, and they do tend to beat up on the lesser teams, which unfortunately we're kind of bundled in with at the moment. So either way, looking forward to the game. Definitely going to be keeping my both eyes on this one with a small glance over at Red Zone for bets going on. But yeah, looking forward to it. Who day?
Big thank you to Adam there, and you can get him on Twitter at Touchdown Tips. Again, fantastic addition to the tailgate. Obviously, we always say this, but do bet responsibly if you're going to have a little tickle. He said some interesting things there, and I keep saying there are some really interesting little side stories today. If AJ does get that touchdown, he ties Chad for franchise touchdown receptions. T. Higgins is bearing down on Chris Collinsworth's sort of 30-year-old rookie receiving record, which I think is an incredible achievement if he does make it. Even if he doesn't, he's had a terrific season. So these things are all into the mix. You've got the Ravens desperately wanting to get to the playoffs. Would you prefer to see the Ravens get into the playoffs or the Browns, Mike?
Do you know what? Just the Browns, because they'll absolutely stuff it up in the playoffs. That's just purely it. I fear that if the Ravens get in the playoffs, they'll actually go on a bit of a run. So it's Cleveland, and that's it.
And I do think if the Browns get through, they play. No, they don't, do they? They play the Bills. I think the Browns play the Bills. I think. Don't quote me on that, though. So, yeah, they could well be one and done, which would be hilarious. Put them back in their box again for a little while, I think. Jamie, what are you thinking about today? What would you like to see happen today?
Well, I want the banter result, which is obviously us stuffing the Ravens over in week 17 to send them packing out of the playoffs and get Indy into it. I don't think it's going to happen, but it'd be funny if it did. There was mention of the week 17 record for the Bengals, which is one of the oddest little things going. My first ever game at Paul Brown Stadium was the last time they lost in week 17. That was in 2011 in Dalton's rookie season. And they still got to the playoffs that day because of some Tim Tebow heroics in San Diego. It's been a long time since we've lost in week 17 for some reason. Even in spite of the times we've been terrible. We'll see how it goes. I don't think we'll win, but it'd be really funny if we did.
I think we'll look forward to either. Bengals Twitter for Bengals Twitter for all the scenarios, because if we lose, the team's terrible. Fire Zach Taylor, it's rubbish. Get clean house. If we win, we're going to screw up our draft position. We're going to lose. We're going to get worse. It's going to, typical Bengals going on this end of season run. We had Penny Sewell in the bag, and now we're going to have no one. And then obviously Black Monday, Mike Zimmer gets fired. Get him back in. Fire Zach Taylor. So it's going to be. I think the best action is going to be on Twitter over the next few days for Bengals Twitter. That's probably actually looking forward to that more than I actually the game itself. I just think these week 17s, we have a great record, but they do get forgotten. Apart from like the bomb to wager, they do get forgotten quite quickly. So I think it's the virtual world where the soap opera that is Bengals Twitter is going to be brilliant in the next couple of days. So look out for that, everyone.
Bengals inactive today, for what it's worth.
Here we go.
Kicker Randy Bullock, and that's the other storyline that we haven't talked about. This could be Randy's last game as a Bengal. Certainly not playing, but as technically a Bengal. Mackenzie out, William Jackson out, Logan Wilson out, Alex Redmond out, the offensive lineman Sutherland, and Will Cox, the tight end, who got bumped up to the active roster. That secondary today, that's not good, is it really?
I've been seeing some of the names knocking around. Some of the active names. We've got Mason Schreck playing today, which is going to be interesting because he's apparently been here for 1,000,000 years and I've still seen him do nothing.
I know. Bless him. Peter Dadswell prediction. I don't care about the result. I just want two things: AJ Green to score one final touchdown, and Higgins to get the 92 yards needed to reach the 1,000-yard mark in his rookie year. But if you need a score prediction, Ravens 27, Bengals 20. Secondary is too weakened today. I think that echoes what everyone thinks, really. But Brandon Allen last week, we haven't spoken about, the Tailgate took a week off last week, and how good was Brandon Allen? Bloody hell.
He's turned into I wonder if he can go out there and get that kind of Matt Flynn deal, sort of from back in the day.
Yeah.
That some foolish team's gone and panicked and going to sign him on one really good outing.
Yeah.
I think that says an awful lot about Houston's pass defense, which was awful last week and nearly as bad as ours.
But still got to do that. Still got to do it. Still got to go out there and do it.
Yeah.
You say Brandon Allen. I say we've got a run game. The last few weeks, P. Ryan, Bernard, we've got one. It's great. So whatever happens with those two going into next season, I hope P. Ryan especially. You never know, he might land himself with a decent deal elsewhere. But if we've learned anything from this season, it is that to rely on the run game, lean on the run game a little bit more, and not give the QB as much to do. So, we might just be learning. And next season with Burrow back,
better offensive line, better coached offensive line. You never know.
Better defense. Lawson back, William Jackson back. It's a Super Bowl, isn't it?
Gotta be. Duncan Yeadon is wearing this today. And we are going to finish the show with an AJ Green item, I guess you'd call it. Jamie, do you want to explain this?
Yeah, so a long time ago, when the Bengals first came over to Wembley, we were looking into songs about all the players, and they were meant to be kind of football-y songs, but this one wasn't. This sort of kind of took its own legs. We did a song called God Save Our AJ Green, which was based on God Save the Queen. And yeah, it's reverential enough, and kind of it came from a place of real love, and that's where we hold AJ. He's been fantastic for us. If this is the end, it's been a great time.
Absolutely, and we're going to attempt to sing it now. Mike, are you ready for this?
Certainly am.
There is a very long drum roll, so beware. You haven't heard this before. So this is, we're going to sign off now. Thank you so much for watching. We started, obviously we were the world first fan group to do an online tailgate last year. We've taken it on to live streaming. I hope you've enjoyed it. We will be back next year. Thank you so much to everyone who's watched and has actually contributed. We'll be doing more of the same next year. So, right, this might end horribly and it might be terrible, but this is, we're going to sign off with our unofficial anthem.
God save our AJ Green. Long live our AJ Green. God save the Green. Da, 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 da. Send him victorious. Happy
for us.
Lord, may he play for us. God save the Green. Well, that was incredible.
Genuinely incredible. I have to stop the YouTube thing quickly because you never guess what the next national anthem lined up is on YouTube. It's the German national anthem.
Oh, wow.
Deutschland über. Oh, that's the wrong one.
Yeah, it's on. We need to talk to the German Bengals team.
Absolutely. That's one thing for next season.
To get one for themselves.
Bring the Mexican guys on. We're going to bring the German guys on. We're going to bring the Swedish, the Italians, the French.
There's the French group.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, once again, Happy New Year to everyone. Who knows? There is talk of this tailgate coming back for the playoffs. We'll put it out to you guys to see if you want more of this nonsense. Anna Pearson says thank you very much, all of you. Laurie Claridge, who memorably has been involved this year with her amazing American food stuffs. Happy New Year to all Bengals UK fans. Many thanks for all great content over the past few months. Hooday to everybody. Enjoy the game today. Let's hope AJ gets his record. Let's hope T. Higgins gets his record. And watch our social feeds and news feeds. It could be a very, very interesting off-season coming up. With that, I'll stop talking now. It's a big thank you to Jamie Rowe. Thank you, Jamie. Big thank you to Mike Smith. Thank you, Mike. And we will see you very soon. Take care of yourselves. Be safe. Out.